Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, and share. For my old subscribers, thank you for listening today. Thank you for always supporting. Just a heads up, this video is going to be long. First of all, I want to explain why I've been missing for a bit. My old subscribers. Actually, the channel is going to be taking a new phase. I think that's the right word to say. I want to tell more stories, more different type of stories, right? So for a bit, I didn't know how to go about it because I know that people who tune to this channel come to listen to African stories, which I will keep telling. But I wanted to say other stories that I interest me as well. So the three stories that this channel will be saying now would be true crime, uh, true life stories that do not involve crime, and the African stories as well. So what I would do is have like a series or a playlist. If you want to listen to the true crime stories, there'll be a playlist for you. You can listen to those stories. If you want to listen to general true life stories, you'll listen to that as well. And if you're here only for the African stories, you'll also have that as well. I'll keep posting African folklore stories, fantasy stories, just as before. I want to thank everyone for their patience and understanding. But really, I just wanted to say different type of stories that I like, that interest me as well, and that is what the channel will be doing moving forward. If you have any suggestions for names, please share them in the comment section, because these stories will be told, although these stories may not be African stories, they may involve stories from other parts of the world. Again, it is from the viewpoint of an African, right? So I just hope you will like them and stay and subscribe. But yeah, that's what has been happening behind the scene. I've been trying to come forward and explain that I wanted to tell more stories, different stories other than African stories. I don't know if people would like it, but I'll keep saying the African stories. So if you only want African stories, yes, I'll post African stories. But moving forward, there'll be stories for true crime and true life stories. And what I do not do, if you listen to my channel closely, I do not impute any of my opinions to any story I tell, and that's for a reason. I do not tell people, what you can learn from a story. The story is an art, so it's up to you to decide what you want to learn from it. But for my true life stories, I'm going to be sharing my opinions and what we can learn from it, as well as the true crime as well. So in those two sections, you'll see more of my opinions. You get to know more about my, mindset or thought process, whatever it may be, for those two sections, right? So we have true crime, true life stories, and African stories. And for the true crime and true life, it can come from any part of the world. So I may be saying stories from Europe, Asia, Australia. Please, if you like this, please stay tuned. And yes, that's why I haven't been posting for a while, because I've been trying to um, move my move the channel towards a different direction, and I hope you like this direction. Additionally, I have to add that I have seen comments about my voice. I generally do not necessarily like the sound of my voice. People think that maybe I'm chewing gum or something, but like I'm not doing anything right now. So it's the sound of my voice. That's the way I speak. That's the way I sound. It took a bit of courage to start this channel, but yeah, like this is the way I sound. This is my voice. Because I'm going to be saying longer stories now, so I just please be patient with me and the sound of my voice. So with that being said, I'm going to move to the story of today. Thank you. So today's story is a true crime story from the United States. We're going to be looking at Bobbie Jo's case. Bobbie Jo Stinnett. I hope I said that right. Since this is a true crime story, I have to put up some disclaimers. This story is entirely for educational purposes. Everything that I speak about is public information. It's on the internet. You can do a research and you find it there. We're going to be talking about SA, alcohol, prostitution. So if you do not like those type of things, if you like my African stories, so you can, leave this story and tune in again for the African stories. Bobbie was born on December 4th, 1981. She was born in Missouri, United States of America. She lived with her father and mother. They were very, good folk. People described Bobbie as someone who was nice, positive, very gentle type of person. So they lived in a small town called Skidmore, and those type of American small cities that everybody knows everybody, that kind of thing. So people knew her, and they described her as somebody who was very positive and joyful, that type of thing. So in high school, like many American stories, she met a guy called Zeb, and she liked him a lot, and Zeb liked her as well. And with time, eventually they got married. Now, one of the things that Bobbie liked and Zeb liked as well was their love for pets. They liked animals, and one of the animals was let me say this right, rat terrier, I think. So she and her husband, they began to breed this type of dogs and sell to people, right? So they were living a very happy life at this point. She was, content with what she had. She really, really was the one in charge of the dog business. So she was the one that was, selling the puppies when they had puppies, making contacts and things like that. And one of the contacts she made was to join an online forum specifically for her type of dog. I can't say the name again. I think I butchered the name the first time I said it. So she joined this forum and she made friends with everyone there. Not everyone, but she made friends. She was nice. They described her as nice, right? So whenever she had puppies for sale, she would let them know in the group that she had puppies and stuff like that. So that went on for a bit. Then in 2004, she became pregnant. So when she became pregnant, after a few months, she now went on maternity leave. And then she put it in the group that, she was on maternity leave. She's pregnant. She's going on maternity leave now. That she now has puppies to sell. That anyone who wants to buy can come to the house. And that if anyone wants to buy, they should call her. They should let her know, and she would be at home. She's available. She would tell them where she lives. They'll come and purchase the puppy. So everybody, of course, was happy for her in her group. Everyone was saying congratulations, what have you, that kind of thing. So now during this maternity period, what will happen is her husband will go out for work and she will stay back. So some of her family members will come and stay with her to keep her company because she's pregnant. She's all at home till her husband comes back, right? So one time, I think it was December 16th, her mom came to see her. So the mom was knocking at the door when she got to her house. Bobbie, open door. And nobody was opening the door. So she touched the door and she saw that it was open, right? So she goes into the house. So now calling, Bobbie, where are you? The lady was not answering. Just for the mother to enter inside the parlor like that, she now saw her daughter, like blood everywhere. The girl was on the floor, blood everywhere. The mother began to scream. And what the mother said was that the blood, all of it was so much, and it was only coming from one particular point, her tummy. The mother described her tummy as something that had exploded. So it was like a volcano or something that erupted from the inside out. The woman, very distraught, called 911. They called police. Police came. And when police came, they quickly realized that the woman, Bobbie, had died, unfortunately. But the problem here was that her baby, the pregnancy she was carrying, the baby was gone. Somebody had opened her tummy and taken the baby from inside her tummy. Now, the problem now became, where is the baby? Who will kidnap an unborn child, and where will they take the unborn child to? And it's a very dangerous endeavor to do because, to give birth is not easy. What if something happened to the baby while the person was trying to, open it and take it out? So now, in order to act fast, some police people were saying that they have to issue Amber Alert. Amber Alert is something that they do in America when a child has gone missing and they're trying to look for that child in the first 48 hours. I think that's how it works. Any information, anything, the police will give to the public and allowed to go to everyone's phone. You will know that a child that is, maybe tall, short, 5, 6, 7 years old, on their bike, blue bike, the person was wearing pink cardigan, the person has gone missing. If you see somebody with pink cardigan, blue bike, short, tall, fat, slim, call the police, that kind of thing. That's what Amber Alert is. But the situation with this case is that the baby, nobody has seen the baby. And it is a fresh newborn baby, like fresh. How are they going to describe it? And newborn babies, technically, they all look the same in the beginning, like as in it's just a newborn baby. There's no, except if the person is a black baby or a white baby, every baby is the same. But some police officers didn't want to issue the Amber Alert, others wanted to, so they now agreed to issue it. Once that Amber Alert was issued, one of her neighbors now came forward, Bobbie's neighbor. Bobbie's neighbor now came and said that during the day, there was a red Toyota Corolla that parked in front of the woman's house. She noticed it because, all these American people now, it's a small town, they know themselves. So she most likely knows the type of people that comes to visit Bobbie, the husband's car, her mother's car, everybody's car. So none of them have red Toyota. So once she saw it, she, remembered it immediately, like as in she had not seen this type of car before. Here. So she told the police that information. The police took note of it. Now, during this time, even before the Amber Alert was sent out, the police, obviously, the forensic people were going around. So they realized that when Bobbie's tummy was cut open, she was still alive, actually. It is possible that she even woke up because they noticed that under her feet was covered with blood. So at some point, she was walking around. Or at some point, there was a struggle because they found blonde hair under her hand. So she was fighting at some point before she collapsed. Another thing was that there was no forced entry. So whoever did it came into the house. Bobbie must have opened the door for them. That means she knew the person, and the person, just came in like a friend or something. And the scary part is the person used her kitchen knife to do this nonsense. The person used her kitchen knife to open her tummy. So the police now, they were not doing their, normal work, investigation, trying to find out this, trying to find out that. Before anybody could blink, everything had gone to news because the case was very, very, very peculiar. Like, we're looking for an unborn baby. Somebody has taken a woman's unborn baby. So by this point, the news now reached her online forum, right? The people who are into dogs and selling dogs and buying dogs. They now heard about the news and the situation that this lady had died and someone had taken a baby. Everybody was sad because Bobbie was a nice person, regular person. All she wanted to do was have her own family. She was happy that she was pregnant, telling everybody that she was pregnant, happy to have her own family, that kind of thing. So everybody was now sad, as it is in most of these forums, putting their comments that, accept my condolence, that kind of thing. Then one member was now going through everybody's messages. He was now, looking at Bobbie's old messages, old pictures, trying to remember her. That's how it normally is. And then he came upon a public message about Bobbie saying that she had a puppy to sell. And under that comment that Bobbie put, somebody said they were going to buy the puppy from her, that they would come and see her in her house. And the crazy thing was that the day the person said this was the day that Bobbie died. So the arrangement was supposed to be the same day that she was killed. So the member now took this information to the police. The police now, investigating, now found that the person who left that comment, the person's name is Darlene Fisher. Darlene was the username. So if you read through the comments, the girl was talking to Bobbie for quite some time, right? So first of all, Bobbie says she has a puppy. The lady says she wants to buy the puppy. Where can she meet Bobbie to pick up the puppy? Where can they pay? So Bobbie now gave her address and that she'll be at home so time. She should come and, the puppy will be ready for pickup, that kind of thing. So the lady now said, okay, that's good. That her house is 30 minutes away. That she would come to Bobbie's house that day to buy the puppy. Everything about the message was okay. The first thing that the police noticed was that Darlene's IP address is in a city called Kansas. That's Kansas City in America. And that was 3 hours away from Bobbie's house. Meanwhile, Darlene is saying that her house is 30 minutes away. Why will you lie about distance to begin with? But again, nothing about the messages was fishy. Nothing except that the time to buy that puppy was the same time or the same day that Bobbie was killed. Other than that, the entire message looks normal. Somebody is selling puppy, another person wants to buy the puppy, and then they began to become friends and sharing information. Darlene was saying that, she was pregnant as well. However, she was pregnant for twins and one of the twin babies had died. And she now has to carry the entire pregnancy, even with the dead baby, until she is due, until she gives birth. Then they will now take out the dead baby. So everybody was now, because she also told her farm people. So Bobbie was now feeling for her. They were all saying, it's not easy. Yeah, But the thing was that other members, obviously it was after the fact, they were telling police, was that the woman never looked pregnant to them. But if a woman is telling you that one of her babies have died in her womb, obviously nobody will be asking her, how did the baby die? When did the baby die? You don't look pregnant. When were you pregnant? Nobody asked her. She didn't look pregnant, but they just took her by her word. So that was what Darlene was telling all her foreign people, that she was pregnant with twins and, her due date was coming at the same time that Bobbie's due date was coming. That's what she was saying. So on that level, Bobbie was connecting with her in terms of, this is a fellow pregnant woman like myself. Maybe she understands the things I'm going through, that type of thing. So after reading all these messages, now the police now decided to visit Darlene. And when they got to the Kansas City, in front of Darlene's house was a red Toyota Corolla, just the way that Bobbie's neighbor had described it. Then the police, they clocked that one. They saw evidence number 1. They entered inside the house. When they entered inside the house, they saw what was Darlene with a newborn baby. And immediately the police asked her, where did you get this baby from? She said it's her baby. She just gave birth to the baby. It's her child, this and that. The police did not believe her. They took the baby from her and took the baby immediately to the hospital. And they arrested her. Darlene was shouting, why are you arresting me? What did I do? Why are you arresting me? So they took her in and she was explaining that it is her baby, that she was pregnant with twins, and one of the twin babies had died. This one was her own. So the next thing the police did was to call her husband, because obviously her husband would be the next person that will know whether or not she was pregnant and gave birth. So the police called the husband, and the husband, his name is Kevin. So at this point, the police had found out that obviously her name is not Darlene. Her name is Lisa Marie Montgomery. I hope I said that right. So she was not telling police that the only thing is that she only did not use her real name. Her real name is Lisa, but she did not say that her real name was Lisa. She just continued to use the Darlene as a username. That's the only thing she lied about. Otherwise, everything else is true. She was saying she was really pregnant with twin babies and she lost one in her womb, and this one is the one that survived. The police now said, okay, let us call the husband. Her husband's name was Kevin. They called Kevin. Kevin said that one day he was in the office. His wife, Lisa, called him and told him that she had gone into labor. So she had to immediately go to the hospital. She got to the hospital. The next thing that Kevin knew was that the wife called him and told him that she has given birth. However, she's in a fish restaurant. One thing called the Long John or something restaurant. That he should come there and come and pick her. Kevin was shocked, as in how? But he didn't question it. He went to the restaurant. He went to the restaurant with two of their children. I think those are his stepchildren. Those two children are Lisa's children from her previous marriage. So when they got there, they saw Lisa and the newborn baby. Everybody was happy. Baby has been born. It was a baby girl, and Lisa called the baby girl Abigail. So that's what Kevin told the police. That is the only thing he knew. He knew nothing else. There was nothing else he knew about he did not witness the labor. They did not witness her giving birth to the baby, but he knew that she was pregnant, and now she had given birth. That's all he knew. Now, obviously, the police did DNA and all of that, and everything was a lie. Lisa had lied from the beginning. Now, before we begin to break down how she plotted all of this and why she plotted it, let us first of all understand who Lisa is. Lisa was born on February 1968. Now, the problem with Lisa was, from the moment she was born, she never had a chance at all. Unfortunately for this girl, her mother was an alcoholic. And her mother drank and drank and drank to stupor, even throughout her pregnancy. The woman drank to, if they say who is a useless mother, to be this woman, drank to stupor. And it affected her pregnancy. It affected her baby, Lisa. Lisa was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. That is, someone whose mother was drinking too much alcohol when they were pregnant, and now it had affected the child's development. It comes in many different ways, but the one that Lisa suffered with was communication and speech. She found it difficult to speak, and she found it difficult to learn in class because she also had like memory loss, things like that. All these things were not her fault. Like, she was born with it because her mother was always drinking. So you can imagine that such a child, in America, every small thing, bullying. So such a child was bullied a lot. Like, every small thing, it's one thing or that she couldn't pay attention in class, and the teachers they didn't have patience, or because it's a public school, right? Those type of children would usually have to go to special schools, children with special needs, where more attention would be given to them. Anyway, so she was in this public school and getting bullied a lot. Not only was she bullied in school, she was also abused at home. Her mother was a horrible person. So they will always, if she did something wrong, they will whip her, tie her up, or, put her in an ice bath, or throw her out of the house naked, those type of things. That was going on for a very long time until she was like 9. I believe when she was 9, her birth parents now divorced. So her father left her mother, and her mother married another man. This will now be her stepfather. Now, at the age of 11, the stepfather began to essay Lisa. He would take her to the back. There's something they call in the America, I think it's a barn or something. Like a separate house at the back of your house, that type of thing. And then he would, essay her. Horrible essay, because it's YouTube, I cannot say all the things we're doing, but like horrible essay type of things. Then, after a while, he began to bring his own friends to be essaying the girl. And the crazy part of all this was that her mother knew what was happening at the back of the house. Her mother knew. What her mother did, instead of her mother to stop it or, take her own children and run away, she told her stepfather to be charging his friends. That is turning the girl into, prostitution. That she'll be charging and this is somebody who was 11, 12. And it was not just, essay, but they will also do, nonsense things. Anyway, horrible things, sha. Now, the girl, I think this was going on for maybe a year or so. Then she picked up courage to tell her mother that, this is what has been happening at the back of the house, that she needs help and that kind of thing. Her mother now pointed a gun at her and told her that if she tells anybody, she will kill her. Oh God. That she will kill her and nothing will happen. So the girl now, she was afraid. She didn't tell anybody. But you know how you will be abused so much that you would even be looking for death. So she didn't care whether they would kill her or not. She was not, I think she told 2 other people or 3 other people. Still, those people did not do anything. They did not believe her. Because somebody at that age, 11, 12, what type of, how is this happening? Fortunately for her, the stepfather now left her mother. The girl now thought that, Maybe now her problems will end, not knowing that the devil has planned more. The next thing, her mother married another man, and then this would now be her second stepfather. It was actually her mother at this point that even told the stepfather that, see you, the last husband I had, this is what me and him were doing. Please, if you can bring your friends, let us continue this prostitution business. So that was what the man did. He started to essay the girl and then bring his friends to essay the girl as well. They say horrible mother of the year to be that one. Now, at the age of 18, her mother now forced her to marry her stepbrother at the age of 18. So you can imagine that type of household, somebody who has been abused for many years. Her stepbrother was not any better. He was still doing the same things to her. Unfortunately for her, or fortunately, I don't know how you want to see it, she gave birth to 4 children for him. Then eventually she began to become mentally unstable. Somebody who has been... meanwhile, I forgot to say, when the first man was essaying her during that period, she started taking alcohol at the age of 11, 12. So she was already an alcoholic at that young age. So now that she was married to the stepbrother, she had given him 4 children, she began to have mental episodes or mental issues. She it was getting too much. So her stepbrother now divorced her, that she should go. So as she left, she went with 2 kids. I think she was entitled to go with 2 of the last children she gave birth. Fortunately for her, God brought her recent husband to her, Kevin. Kevin was not abusive. I did not say anything about him being abusive online. If anything, he was just okay, normal guy. There was no, I didn't see any report of abuse on his head. So she was managing this man. They're loving themselves. She had those 2 children for her ex-husband, which is her stepbrother. So I think, oh my God, I've jumped on that part. Sorry. So before she divorced her stepbrother had told her that he didn't want to have any more children. So she should go and sterilize herself. That is, take out her womb completely. Not tie it, but take it out. So she took out the womb. So there's no way she can conceive. Now, when she married Kevin, this her recent husband, she wanted to have children for him. She wanted to give him children because, he was the first person that has ever treated her well. So I think in her mind, she wanted to have children for him. But the problem here is that she couldn't give birth. However, one of the mental issues she began to have was she had a condition known as pseudosis or pseudosis. That is a condition where a woman believes that she's pregnant, although she's not pregnant. And the woman can go as far as having symptoms of pregnancy. So that is big tummy, big boobs, throwing up in the morning, that kind of thing. Even people around you will think you're pregnant. Even you will think you're pregnant until you go to deliver and doctor will say, madam, there's no baby inside this tummy. Then your eyes will clear. Maybe she'll tell her husband maybe every 3 months or 4 months that she's pregnant. Then after a while, she will say she had a miscarriage. That was what was going on. Then one time she said she was pregnant and that she's pregnant with twins and that kind of thing. So people thought that her tummy would be bigger than what it was, but again, nobody wanted to ask her. But this particular time, the news now got to her ex-husband that she's pregnant. But her ex-husband knew that there's no way she could be pregnant because he was the one that supervised her womb removal. He is the one that told her to get it done. He was the one that paid for it. He was the one that was there. So how can she be pregnant? So, and at this time, he wanted custody of the 2 children that she had. So he wanted all the 4 children to be under his own roof. So he wanted to use these points in court against her to tell the court that, the woman is mentally unstable. How can she think that she's pregnant when she, in actual fact, cannot be pregnant? So when information reached to Lisa that this is what her ex-husband is planning, that is now when she decided that she must have a child no matter what. And unfortunately for Bobbie, she was now in the peripheral vision of the evil one. Lisa now found one of Bobbie's comments in the forum where she said that she said that she was pregnant and she was going on maternity leave, because before now Lisa was already in that forum. She was already, I think they said she was a dog lover or something, I don't know, but she was in that forum, and that is where she found out that Bobbie was having a baby. So she now planned the whole thing about, connecting with Bobbie, being her friend online, talking to her, then using the excuse of wanting to buy that puppy to come and see her. So she cased the whole thing. She came before day to see how far her house was from the place. Everything. She did everything. She planned everything. When she got there, she strangled Bobbie once Bobbie opened the door for her. Then Bobbie now fell down. She thought Bobbie had died, but she had not. So while she was trying to open the tummy and bring out the baby, Bobbie now woke up. So she now had to, struggle with her for a bit, or that kind of thing, before the man, gave up and, died, and Lisa took the baby and ran. At this point, the police took her matter to court, and in October of 2007, Lisa was found guilty and she was sentenced to death. Now, at this point, some people were now arguing that, yes, the woman should be put behind bars. However, to be sentenced to death is a very strong thing, because I don't throw mental health around, but for this particular person, she went from the moment her mother conceived her, she didn't even have a chance. From the moment she was conceived, her fate had already been sealed. Although you don't use mental health as an excuse to kill somebody, I'm not defending her. I'm just saying that in her case, her lawyers did not do well. They should have used mental health or insanity or something to plead her case, and she would have been put behind bars for life, But she was sentenced to death, and in 2021, January, she was executed with lethal injection, and she died. So the baby now I think the baby now should be 18 or 19. The baby was obviously given back to the father, Zeb, and Zeb gave her another name, like a new name, because Lisa was calling her Abigail, but Zeb named her Victoria Jo. So yeah, that's it. That is all that I have for this case. So this case was just it was a very, very horrible one. Imagine you trying to build your own family, and someone just comes in and steals your unborn child. It's a horrible way to die. And I think one of the things, I don't know if it happens to other Africans, but like in the old days, when someone is pregnant, they won't tell you they're pregnant. It's because of things like this. They won't tell you that you're pregnant. You just, next thing you hear is the person has given birth. Except if you know the person, like you know her, like you have to see her every day, then you say, oh, okay, she's pregnant. But if not, you may not know anything until she gives birth, or until she wants to tell people. It's the same thing like when Africans want to travel, they will not tell you that they're traveling. You just know that they have arrived. That's all. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this case. If you have any cases, if you have any stories you want me to talk about, any true crimes, true life stories, let me know in the comment section. If you have stayed to this end, please subscribe, like, and share. So yeah, I will see you again in the next story. Please stay safe.